on the correct side of the dirt.
There you go.
She came to give me a hard time. That was a while ago. When he found out we were together, because Cindy's on fire board. So
Yes.
she came specifically to give me a hard time about
Okay.
Cindy's little brother.
Okay. Cindy and I graduated same year.
But no, we kept it very, very, very quiet.
Okay.
And our guest list. I really do.
I'm ready for Thursday now.
Right? I think it was the name change. We will.
So did we change your name tag yet?
We will.
Okay.
Eventually.
We're not going to do the hyphenated.
No.
Okay.
No.
We're close. Good. I like tradition.
It's a little scary though.
It's longer than Lane.
It's 6:01.
6:01.
I'd like to call the meeting to order. Would you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. Thank you. Do we have roll call, please?
Yes, you may. Good evening, everyone. Councilmember Kelly.
Present.
Councilmember Miller.
Here.
Councilmember Lane. Here. Councilmember Mendoza.
Here.
Councilmember Best.
Here.
Vice Mayor Turner.
Here.
And Mayor Croft.
Here.
And we have our attorney on the webcam.
Good evening.
Mr. McGuire, how are
evening.
you this evening?
Splendid, thank you.
Splendid. Okay. Introduction, presentations, and proclamations. I have none of those right now. We'll go on to call of the public. Call of the public is an opportunity for the public to address the council on any issue within the jurisdiction of the council that is not on the agenda. Public comment is encouraged. Individuals are limited to speak for 3 minutes. The total time for call of the public may be up to 30 minutes for meeting. Council action taken as a result of public comment will be limited to directing staff to study the matter, scheduling the matter for further consideration and discussion at a later date, or responding to criticism. Do we have anyone that would like to speak on call to the public? Yes. All right, please come up. Please state your name and horsepower. Would you pull that microphone towards you?
That might be helpful. My name is Mary Rocchio.
And I'm Anita DeMello, and we're here from the Chino Valley Senior Center, the Let's Dance, and we're here to present a dance coming up on June 28th.
Which is on a Thursday at the Senior Center. Tickets are $15, and that includes hot dogs, chips, beverages, and with a great band.
It's the shades of yesterday with 50s, 60s, 70s, and a little bit of country. So we will have line dancing, and we will have a rock and roll dance, and we will have a good dance. Let's dance.
And where are the proceeds from this?
The proceeds go to the Chino Valley Senior Center, the net proceeds.
And I already have my tickets. The mayor has his tickets, so bye, bye, bye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anybody else for call to the public? Response to the public. Response to the public is an opportunity for the mayor to inform the public about how town officials address matters raised during call to the public at a previous meeting. There is none. There are no responses to the public. Current events, summaries, and reports. This item is for information only. The mayor and any council member or town manager may present a brief summary or report of current events. Ask a staff member to provide the same. Presentations on information requested by the mayor and council will be made, and questions answered. No action will be taken. Mr. Romley, would you come up with your... And tell us about the Paulden plunge? Do we have a microphone? Can I cut that off when he talks to you?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The main thing I wanted to say is, and I wanted the council to know, is we did start the Paulden Plunge 2 weeks ago. Matter of fact, the councilman, Mike Best, drove today. And I want to let you know that this is a collaborative effort between the town, Yavapai Regional Transit, as well as the Paulden Foundation. And then in the last 2 weeks, we've hauled 108 kids, which is 216 passenger trips. 86 kids are registered to go into the pool, and we still have about 6 or 7 weeks left to go. So I want to thank you for the donation that you gave us. It's going to be used very well. We turned in to you guys last year about a little over $900. We think we're going to really beat that this upcoming year to the town. So
I want to thank you and Yavapai Regional Transit, and here's a check for $1,700 to help bring these children from Paulden to the pool. Thank you very much, you and your staff.
thank you.
Well, I'm going to say something. Mr. Mike Best happens to be one of those drivers. And with Ron, I think Ron was driving for a couple of days.
For 2 weeks while he was on vacation.
He's been on vacation. He drives every day now, so Councilman Best, thank you very much for your support.
You're welcome.
Are we gonna show that YouTube video? Yay!
Council, anyone in the council have anything to report?
I need a handout.
I know she does.
I do.
She always has.
No, I don't.
Okay.
Okay, this is close to my heart. I'll try not to stutter too much. So this coming Saturday and Sunday is the 6th annual Wade Parker co-ed softball tournament. Softball players. This tournament raises money for the Wade Parker Memorial Scholarship Fund, which goes directly to Chino Valley high school students, and they're actually expanding to the Tri-City areas who want to pursue a career in public safety, public service. So I was at the very first one when it was just a gathering of friends trying to have a good time after a tragedy, and now it's blown up into a great whole weekend event. And this year there's a beer garden. Thank you. And cornhole tournament. I mean, it's just really kind of gone crazy. So the information is definitely on Facebook if you're on Facebook, or you can get in touch with me if need be. And I believe the Parks and Rec has all that information. I want to thank them for their cooperation on that. I think that's it. Just please come. It's hot and it's probably going to rain, thankfully, hopefully. But it's a great event every year, and it just keeps getting bigger and bigger. And these were just kids that started it, and now they're sending other kids to school to be firefighters and police officers. So we would really appreciate your support this Saturday and Sunday.
This Saturday.
All day, like all day at the community center. So cornhole is at the community center. Home run derbies at the community center. Horseshoe tournament is at El Charro Norte at 7. There's raffles. There's guns. I mean, it's such a great event, and it's really grown, and I'm super, super close to my heart. So please come and share it with everybody. And even if you just want to come watch people be silly and play softball or play cornhole or win some prizes, it's a great cause. Thank you.
What's registration for a softball team?
Pardon me?
How much is registration for the softball
I
team?
think they've already filled up the slots. You're late on the draw, mister.
I was just been out of town, sorry.
Yeah,
Won't
yeah.
happen again.
I'll let you know.
Okay.
I think they're already full.
All right.
Anyone else on this side? Matt. Please. Pardon?
300.
300. Since she didn't swear me to secrecy, you'll notice that Councilwoman Lynn is walking around smiling. And why is that? She is recently betrothed, so
Thanks.
wanna
Thank
congratulate
you
her.
for putting me on the spot.
I couldn't resist that.
Thank you.
I know you'll get even.
You did what?
You'll get even, I know.
Yes.
Okay, anybody else? Okay, let's go on to status report by Town Manager Cecilia Gritton.
Good evening, Mayor and Council, and congratulations, Councilmember Lane. Couple things I wanted to mention. You've probably seen the yellow ribbon honor tree out in the lobby. That is to honor anybody in our community who has someone in their family who's deployed, and we do have now a ribbon up on the tree. It's to recognize Tammy Larison, who is in the United States Navy, and she has been deployed to Italy. So just everybody keep her in your thoughts and prayers.
Absolutely.
I wanted to mention that we will not have a study session next week over the Road to North Development Agreement and the road improvement, or TIA, that was done on Road to North. We will have that in July. It's all been pushed back a month. So same schedule will be the study session in July. I wanted to thank the council for my long vacation. I really appreciated the time. And when I came back, there was... We just have a good crew here, and I heard story after story how different people were participating with different departments. We had a water line that broke over at the aquatic center area that the utilities department came in and did, and the roads department. It's just the police department have helped on different things. It's just been a really good group of people who work here. And at the same time, we'd also gotten, there's been a lady who at one time had been on vacation down in Florida and had was reading a story or something like that about the Chino Valley soccer coach who had retired here, and she had done this little video. She works for Capital One Management, and she'd done a little video for the school district that she has now gotten permission to release it, but they use it at Capital One now to demonstrate leadership and teamwork and things like that. And now that they've gotten permission from all the people who are in the film or in the small video, they can now release it. So we do have a copy of it, and I've shown it to the mayor, and he asked that we play it tonight. It is 7 minutes. It's an amazing little YouTube, but it also, it to me, when I saw it, I thought this even demonstrates our employees here, but it really talks about the whole community. And since most of our employees come from the community, it makes sense. But we're going to play it tonight so everybody can watch it. So, Jamie?
I've already cried watching this.
Yeah.
True story.
It's cool.
I love the freedom of the game. You come to soccer and you can't call any timeouts. Clock doesn't stop. You have to have the trust in your team, keeping your focus on the ball and, putting team first. We played fall soccer as a varsity team, and we didn't win a game. Their sophomore year, we won one game. Their junior year, we were undefeated, and their senior year, we were undefeated. It was my point to give everybody in the community a chance to be a part of something that's bigger. My name is Jim Clark. I'm from Chino Valley, Arizona. I was a soccer coach at Chino Valley High School for approximately 30 years.
One of the main challenges is we're in a rural community. There's just some resources that we don't have, but we've been able to overcome that. We recognize that. It takes a lot of hands to make the job a lot easier, and we're helping one another to succeed.
I can remember going to the field, and it was like an alfalfa field with rows. And so we had to do some work ourselves. A lot of that was done by community. My priority is soccer balls. If you have enough balls and you get everybody on a ball, then they're going to learn. The first year we had, 6 pretty good players and 4 or 5 guys that hadn't played but wanted to try it out. I consider myself throughout my career a student of the game because I knew where I was. I knew I had to learn. My philosophy was always that if you're technically better and more physically fit, that you always had a chance no matter how good the other team was.
Coach Clark runs us, and he run you until, we'd have people throwing up at practice, and you'd get back up and keep running. We were never the most talented team, at least when I played. I think they're more talented now. But we had a lot of heart. We worked harder than anybody else out there.
What I love most about playing for Coach Clark was the simplicity he brought. Every day at practice, we would come, and we knew the routine. We'd run, stretch, do the same drills. He'd always throw in one different drill a day. It was the little touches and everything that made us the great players and the great team we were.
Fondest memory I have is when we won state championship my senior year. It was in 2000. We were playing in Camp Birdie. It was all muddy and wet. The field was a mess. We managed to win 2-0. I scored a lucky goal. The ball rolled across the middle of the field, and I got it in the mud and kicked it in before anybody could get to it. I remember after the game, Coach Clark came running onto the field. I'll never forget seeing his face, just the joy, and giving him a hug, and the whole team there together.
As one group learned, then they taught the next, and we got progressively better until we have guys like Arturo Gomez that are really, really good soccer players.
When I first came, I wasn't confident in myself. I really didn't think I was going to do anything in this program. And I had like 3 great, amazing coaches. And they pushed me and they showed me that I had talent.
It's harder to coach, I think, than it is to play for some people. But Todd's a natural. The transition from Coach Clark to Todd, I couldn't imagine a more seamless transition, and it showed in the fact they won a state championship his first year.
Coach Clark and I worked really well together. I'm a former player. I played for him. I don't know if he thought back then I would be a good coach or not.
I picked Todd because he can figure out the X's and the O's. I think he makes good decisions, but mostly I was always impressed with his character when he played and his unselfishness and thought of the team over himself.
Just about every practice we'll set a team goal, which so far 2 years, it's the same team goal, win a state championship. That's pretty easy. But I try to get them to be more specific. What's your personal goal? What do you want to achieve? I want to see all these boys succeed on and off the field. I get out there, I'll throw the cleats on, practice with them, do drills with them, show them techniques. I want to be the best soccer team we can for every game. I want to win championships, but I want these kids to be respectful, be winners outside of soccer as well. I want to keep on with the tradition. Everything that Coach Clark has set up, I want to keep that on. I don't want to change any tradition that he's established.
Coach Clark and Coach Todd, they press a lot on not only do you have to be a good player, but you have to be a good person. I think that's really impacted me a lot.
It's other than soccer you learn out here. You learn a lot of courage and you learn a lot of respect and value.
Coming in, I was a really big ball hog. I came on the field and I played selfish, but playing with them, getting coached by Coach Clark and Coach Todd, I played good and not selfish.
We share this relationship that no other team could have. We have this bond that brings us together as a team.
You go through the adversity of a season, the adversity of 4 years, so many ups and downs, and you truly get to know each other. There's no bigger compliment for a 40-year-old to come up to me and call me coach.
Win one for Coach Clark. It's just, it's a saying that we all say, because he's basically the mentor for Chino Valley soccer, and so we all try to do it for him because of the legacy that he built for this program.
My goal, honestly, from the beginning was to make this program one of the best programs in the state and to teach the kids how to play with class. Winning is the way to measure what you do, but it's really the journey and not the winning that is important. If you take care of your fundamentals and you develop a team concept, then the winning takes care of itself. I'm hoping that people will say that Coach Clark was always there for them, that my players would think that. I hope that we made memories that these kids can build on to play the bigger game of life.
We budgeted $300,000 this year to move some light posts off the field, so close to the field of the community center area. This is why we did it, for these kids and the leadership. These are our future leaders in this town, and we need some leadership to move them along. This coach exemplifies exactly what we need here in Chino Valley. This is a great video.
I just thought it was really great that some big company on the East Coast, she actually offered to come out here and present it to the council herself, but they're using it in their leadership and teamwork training that they do for their company. And, you know, a couple years ago we adopted the one town, one team, and at first it was kind of used sarcastically. Oh, we're one town, one team, but they're not, you know, kind of thing. And it's changing. And I think this is an example of just community-wide. I think we're, you know, we've been through some adversity here in our own town, and you know, but we make it through, and we're stronger for the adversity. So, just thought we should share that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was nice.
Anything else?
My kid was in that video.
Okay, let's go on to item C, introduction of new police officers and the town's newly promoted Police Lieutenant Randy Chapman. Chief, Chuck Wynn.
Mayor and Council, I'm going to go a little bit out of order. I'd like to introduce my two new officers first because they're working just in case they get a call, they have to leave. This is Officer Fernando Silva and Justin Angel.
Come on down front, guys.
You got to come down so everybody can see you.
And look pretty.
ID.
We have another angel?
Yes, and he's Justin's local, grew up here, went to school here, and then I stole Fernando from some northern state up there somewhere north of the Mason-Dixon. So, but he's fitting in very well. So these are two of our four new ones, and we'll try to get the other two new ones here when they're available so that you can meet them. So,
Fantastic.
thanks. I want to take an opportunity to introduce you to our new lieutenant and just a little bit of background. We just recently completed the testing process. I'm sure Lieutenant Chapman can attest that it was very difficult, and I threw some curveballs at him. It was not what they expected. After spending a week studying for it, then showed up and did not get what he expected. So, but it was a tough process. All of our candidates did very well. Our oral board consisted of 3 command officers from other agencies with about 80 years combined experience that did the board for us, and they unanimously selected Randy Chapman as our top candidate. So I also want to throw some kudos out to Lieutenant Sean, who's been doing the job of 2 people for the last 5 years. So. We had this command structure for many years with the two commander positions, and then during the recession we cut it back to 1 to save money, and so our goal has always been to return to the 2. But for the last 5 years, Lieutenant Sean's been pulling double duty. So it's with great pleasure I introduce you to Lieutenant Randy Chapman. Been with the department for about 12 years now, Randy? 14. Almost 14. I'm getting old. So.
She says, no way, I'm not coming.
Hey, Randy, we're looking for someone in a dunk tank for the 4th of July.
Shy. Shy.
It's been a pretty feel-good meeting so far.
Okay, we're gonna move on to the consent agenda now. Does anybody want to pull anything on the consent agenda?
Not myself.
No.
Town clerk, would you read the consent agenda, please?
Stop it.
Don't tear it up. Read.
I moved it and then turned it on and it still crackled.
Okay.
All right, consent agenda. 6A, consideration and possible action to award a construction contract to Asphalt Paving and Supply, Inc. for an amount not to exceed $143,257 for the construction of 3 low water crossings on Gerald Brownlow Drive and East Road 4.5 South as part of the Road 1 East extension. B, consideration and possible action to rescind the contract renewal with TNT Towing previously approved on May 22nd, 2018. C, consideration and possible action to review and approve Arizona Municipal Risk Retention Pool 4th amended and restated membership agreement. D, consideration and possible action to approve the intergovernmental agreement for election services between the Yavapai County Board of Supervisors, Yavapai County Recorder, and the Town of Chino Valley for utilizing county election services, effective July 18, 2018, and remaining in effect until terminated. E, consideration and possible action to accept the May 15, 2018 special meeting minutes. F is to accept the May 15, 2018 study session minutes. And G is to accept the May 22, 2018 regular meeting minutes.
This is thank you very much. This is the consent agenda. All these items listed below are considered to be routine, may be enacted by one motion. Any council member may request to remove an item from the consent agenda to be considered and discussed separately. There was nothing pulled, so I'm going to ask for a motion to approve.
Make a motion to approve consent agenda items A through G.
Is there a second? I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those against, nay. Motion carries. Let's go on to item 7, action items. The council may vote to recess the public meeting and hold an executive session on any item on this agenda pursuant to ARS 38-431-03A3 for the purpose of discussion or consultation for legal advice with the town attorney. Executive sessions are not open to the public. No action may be taken in executive session. Item A, consideration and possible action to adopt a conditional use permit, CUP 18-004, for the approximately 1.3 acres of real property located approximately 25 miles north of the northeast corner of Center Street and State Route 89 intersection at 246 North State Route 89 to allow a food truck court in the commercial CL Light zoning district.
Quarter mile, not 25.
Well, we're close enough.
Government work.
I have a reading expert here next to me, so
I just wanna
he
help
gives me, yeah, I know. Jason?
Thank you, Mayor and Council. We're, staff's requesting a continuance of this item to your July 24th agenda. We have since continued the P and Z action on it to July 3rd, so we would, of course, need them to take action before it comes before you.
Okay. Is there a motion to postpone this item until the next meeting?
Next council meeting. Okay.
July 24th,
No,
actually,
July
that's next month.
Okay, we'll make a motion to postpone this item until July 24th meeting.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Thank you. Let's go on to item B, consideration of possible action to adopt a conditional use permit, CUP 18003, for approximately 4.55 acres of real property located approximately 1,000 feet south of southwest corner of East Road 2 North and North Road 1 East at 784 North Road 1 East. Approval of the conditional use permit will allow the applicant to continue the operation and maintenance of a well drilling business consisting of storage of vehicles, machinery, and supplies in the AR5 zoning district.
All right, thank you, Mayor and Council. I have a brief PowerPoint presentation for you tonight. Staff will present that. And the applicant, Ms. Mayday, is also here in attendance and may wish to add further comment and use the same staff report, the same PowerPoint presentation. So the request is for the property located here, just off of North Road 1 East, south of East Road 2 North. The business has been in operation for just over 20 years, I believe. And it's just west of the Colonial Villas subdivision, which is now almost under construction by Mr. Fletcher. So there's some activity in the area. As of this week, I just want to let you know in regards to the business, staff hasn't heard of any property violations. We verified that for P&Z as well, and we want to bring that to you for the existing business since they're utilizing the property as more or less a business. The project history was back in '96. Mr. McGee applied for a change in zoning to go from AR to CM1, which was our commercial zoning at the time. At that time, legal counsel recommended to utilize the CUP process rather than blanket zone to commercial in this location. And so they were successful at that time in obtaining a CUP to allow the well drilling business and his personal residence on the same site. Since that time, the CUP had expired, but it wasn't to their knowledge apparently, and so they're coming back now to not start a new use, but to actually discontinue the family business under the CUP process. So it was at that time that they granted the conditional use permit for operation and maintenance of a well drilling business, as well as the storage of the vehicles and machinery, and that they were given 5 years. So as you can tell, in 2001 it expired. It's been quite some time. We've had a couple of these instances where old CUPs have expired and we're not even quite aware of it until it comes to our attention. So we're trying to get those cleaned up, and this application is part of that process. You can see the site here. You can see the outline of the buildings as well as the adjacent development. It's about 4.5 acres. The general plan designation is actually commercial multifamily residential, so it's not uncommon to have a commercial use within that designation, even though the underlying zoning is AR5. This shows you the zoning in the area, kind of a mixed bag, if you will, surrounded by somewhat higher density residential to the west, which is the Country West Mobile Home Park. Again, the Colonial Villa is under construction to the east that is anticipated to be single-family homes, and then some developed to the north, and of primarily somewhat vacant property to the south. We kind of put together a site plan out of the aerial for you so you could kind of see where the shop was, the house was, and where the equipment was. The fortunate aspect of this business is that they maintain almost all of their equipment and their buildings, their machinery behind the house and the shop, so that it has less impact on the adjacent streets, so you don't see that all stacked out front. And there's a lot of mature trees on the property if you've had a chance to drive by it. So in your reports, we had an anonymous call come in to code compliance that there was concerns about outdoor storage. It did not result in a violation, as we didn't see any issues with the way the site was being handled when we went out there. It was a little odd. We'd never had a call that we're aware of in quite some time, but perhaps the noticing related to the hearing prompted a response. But we don't know who called it in, but we did confirm, and I'll let Ms. Mayday confirm, that there had been at one moment some tanks outside, but those had been removed from the property. They were just stored there temporarily. So we also looked at the condition of approval that we'd put in your report out of extra caution. We did kind of put what we call a redundant condition. It's more or less restating what code would require, that everything be outside be stored properly, et cetera, et cetera. But since it really is redundant with code, we just struck it from our recommendation. Last thing I'd like to itemize out is that there's not a time step associated with this like the first one. 5 years, expired in 2001, has had no complaints. And here we are, 22 years later. We don't necessarily believe that another time step would really apply to this property. We would recommend an approval of the CUP without a time stipulation. That's it.
Questions? Questions?
I got one.
Yes.
So we've only had, in 22 years, I guess, one call from an unidentified person?
Mayor and council member Kelly, yes, that's correct. That we're aware of. I mean, we're maybe 20 years ago there was an anonymous call, but we're not aware of it.
Thank you.
Then I'll ask for a motion to approve.
Okay. Make a motion to approve a conditional use permit for APN 306-23-007B to allow continuation of an operation and maintenance of a well drilling business consisting of storage of vehicles, machinery, and supplies in an AR5 agricultural residential 5-acre minimum zoning district, subject to the condition recommended by staff and Planning and Zoning Commission.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Costanz.
Dun,
Good,
dun,
it's a good
dun.
thing I'm on some pain meds.
I knew you were, Councilmember, so no PowerPoint tonight.
This meeting has gone to hell in a handbasket. Okay, let's go to item C, consideration and possible action to approve using $300,000 out of the town's general fund contingency amount to reduce the PSPRS unfunded liability amount. Mr. Duffy, please
Yeah.
save me.
I will, sir. Thank you very much, Mayor and Council. This evening, I'm asking permission, basically per our financial policies, we have to come, staff has to come to council to use contingency funds. And as you know, last year we budgeted $440,000, have only used $122,000 this year, and we're going to have about $300,000 less. And so what staff is recommending is that we use that money to pay down our PSPRS liability. As you know, like many communities in the state of Arizona, we have an unfunded portion, and that unfunded portion is getting bigger and bigger every year. So we'd like to start putting some money towards it every year to start reducing our amount. Last year, in 2017, we were 63% funded, and in 19, we were only 55% funded. So we're just not contributing enough on that unfunded liability. I'd like to see it start going the other way. In order to get us equal to where ASRS is, we're about $1,800,000 behind. Now, Prescott is about $80 million behind with their combined systems. So it's not compared to them, it's not a very big number. But if we could pay, ideally we could write a check for $1.8 million today and we'd be good, but we can't do that. So what we're recommending is that every year when we have remaining contingency amounts in our general fund is to just go ahead and start putting some money towards it. In 5 to 10 years, they're going to look back and go, wow, the council was pretty smart doing this, because we'll have definitely worked that unfunded liability down. So.
You're just buttering us up with that comment, right?
Yes. So with that, I'll entertain any questions or.
Questions? Questions? Do I have a motion?
Okay.
To approve?
Okay, make a motion to approve using $300,000 out of the town's general fund contingency account to reduce the PSPRS unfunded liability amount.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Executive session. Council may vote to recess the regular meeting and hold an executive session which will not be open to public for the following purposes. An executive session pursuant to ARS 38-431-03A3 for discussion or consultation for legal advice with the town attorney regarding the acquisition of a portion of the Prescott water system, and pursuant to ARS 38-433-03A4 for discussion or consultation with the town attorney in order to consider the town's position and instruct the town attorney regarding the town's position regarding a contract with the city of Prescott related to the town purchasing a portion of the water distribution system that is a subject of the negotiation. And that's a mouthful. I may have butchered that. Is there a motion to go into executive session?
Make a motion, we go into executive session
And a 5-minute
Second.
recess.
with a 5-minute recess.
Second.
Anything else I can put
All in
in?
favor, say aye.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Absolutely.
That's fun getting spun around and getting up with one arm. These chairs are nice, but it's interesting.
You did.
If someone's listening, they say,
I'm trying to
25
read.
is mine. Okay, I'm ready.
You're ready?
Go home. Had a long day driving. All them rowdy kids.
I was at the pool. There were so many kids there today. Oh my gosh, at the
Pool?
pool.
Yeah.
Oh wow, really? It was insane. There were so many kids. And I like kids, but there
Are we
there were
ready,
so many.
Jamie? Okay. Let's see.
See, Frank, they just made you stay so we'd have an audience.
I guess we need a motion to recess from executive session and say we took no action.
I think so.
I was Is our recorder on?
I'm ready. Can we do it now?
No, we got ready.
Whenever is she ready?
Yeah, I think we heard her yell at.
I need a motion to recess from executive session back into regular meeting.
Reconvene? Make a
Reconvene.
motion to reconvene from executive session?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I need a motion to adjourn.
I make a
to
motion.
adjourn.
And we have taken no action.
Good night.
Whatever it is, we discuss with the attorney.
Okay.
Anyhow, you get more tips tomorrow.